All right, welcome back to Buy Guys Crypto Show, episode 8, where mania rules, caution rules. We play the fools for your viewing pleasure. I'm Raff.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Stu.
And we are here, the Buy Guys, talking crypto all day, every day, all the way. It's the American way. Buy Guys is 20% pull-ups, 30% push-ups, 50% burpees, everybody's favorite. And just as a reminder, this show is not financial advice. We are here to entertain, educate, have a good time. Three fraternity brothers reunited around our love of crypto assets. Take it away, Jeff. Show us the markets.
All right, guys. Hope everybody's doing well today. So going to move over to the markets and take a quick look and see where we're at. Not a whole lot different than what we saw last week. It's been a really boring couple of weeks, which if you're an investor, great news. If you're a trader, I guess it's okay news. I don't know. I'm not a trader, but
if you're a buy guy, it's glorious.
Great news.
It's great. This has been the best. Dude, this show started in the middle of a dip, more like a dump. And now we're just riding out in that valley, hanging out, accumulating, DCAing our butts off. I'm loving it. Although, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, it's not very fun. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not real exciting. I agree. I mean, Bitcoin is at 33. I feel like it's been there a couple of weeks in a row. Ethereum had a nice little run maybe last week, but then has come back down to right around 2. Cardano's lost some value. It's down to $1.30, down about 10 cents. So really nothing crazy to write home about. It's just, depressed a little bit. I will point out, I feel like I have to jab this here, Raff. I was looking to see what was down the most in 7 days.
Brutal.
Telcoin.
25%. Wow.
Ooh.
That was great timing, man. It actually went up. After our last episode, it went up briefly the next day, and I was like, I'm going to make up some ground on the moon bulls, but then it took a big fat poop, and it's been down there for a while. Or it's a great time to buy, which is what I would say.
It did. Look, it went all the way up to, what was that?
Almost 2 cents. That was like a pretty good, 25% or so. I don't know. Bottom line is sideways, mostly. And that's okay. We're bouncing around in these ranges, up and down, nothing major. We're coiling like a snake, like a viper ready to attack. That's how I feel about it. So I don't know about you guys, but aside from the moon bulls, I'm also advancing some of my unearned income and throwing it at this rat hole, which I do believe is going to pay off.
Yeah, it's a good time to increase positions on certain things. I mean, we'll look at the market cap here. I think other people let's see, 1.45 trillion. That's still a big number if you think about it. I mean, if you talk to somebody who's new to cryptocurrency and digital assets and were to ask them, what do you think the market cap or size of the market is? Do you think the answer would be $1.5 trillion? I don't think so. So, I mean, we've been close to 4 at one point before, if I'm not mistaken. But just in the last week since the last show, I always like to start where we were last week at this time, right about 1.45. And I think I just screwed that up. It's like 1.3 now. It's gone down. So we've lost, a fair amount in the last week. But again, good time to buy. So that's a recap on the markets. You guys have anything to add to that? And are you picking anything up? In addition to moon bulls, what are you buying?
Well, again, as you said, it's a good time to buy. It's a tough time to be chasing in moon bulls, and we'll get there. But again, the opportunity, the dollar cost average. Again, the top 10 holdings I have, I've picked up a few simply because I feel like at least the opportunity's there to kind of you take advantage of hopefully this dip. Hopefully it doesn't keep dipping.
I mean, I'm pretty much BTC, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, TEL, and every once in a while I'll dip my toe back into Link a little. I just think any of those are going to be winners in the long run, folks. So that's not financial advice. That's just Rob Rafferty's optimism. So I do keep accumulating small bags left and right. Learn how to access those purchases via Coinbase Pro, which saves me a bundle. After 3 or 4 years of automatic purchases on the regular platform, which charges absurd fees for purchasing, go over to Coinbase Pro for free. Here's a pro tip right there. Save a ton of money. So the only problem is then it's stuck on there for a couple days. Anyway, every platform's got its pros and cons. But let's move on to news you can use. I can't wait to see what Noah's bringing to our attention this week.
So I think this week caught one of the articles that caught my eye that I want to talk about. Raff, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit through the course of this. Is because I don't have much to add on wallets, right? On cold wallets, cold storage wallets. And for those of you that don't know, I don't have any experience in this, but let me share the screen. So the story here is Square, which is the fintech company led by Jack Dorsey, of course, CEO of Twitter. Square announced that they're going to be creating a hardware wallet for Bitcoin. So, thinking about that, I'll just go to the quote here. We've decided to build a hardware wallet and service to make Bitcoin custody more mainstream. So a major barrier of adoption for somebody new to this game. And I think a lot of people come in, I'll just, say myself, joined buying in Coinbase, the easiest, most entry-level place to buy. I've expanded since then, but I haven't gone off of an exchange, off of an online exchange into a cold storage, cold wallet. So Raff, I know you've had some experience doing that. I would love to get your thoughts on, like, can making a cold wallet, particularly linking it to your phone and mobile, lower the barrier to adoption for the masses while having to do this craziness on your own, custody your keys and phrases. And this is a whole, confusing piece of jumping into this market to learn for the first time. So what are your thoughts on that? What say ye?
I have many thoughts, and I'll be quite honest with you. In theory, the idea of being responsible for your assets is kind of nice. It sounds pleasant, right? Like there's no middleman, there's no third party, there's no one who could conceivably block you out of getting the resources at any time you need them, which is not true in the case of financial institutions where most of us store our resources. However, in reality, the truth is, do any of you lose sleep at night thinking that your money in the bank's going to disappear, or that you're going to lose access to it if you can't remember a 35 digit code? I mean, no, you don't, because you trust them. There's a level of social trust and institutional trust that's existed for decades, centuries. I don't know how long, centuries, but as long as the modern American banking systems existed, which is as long as I've been alive, it's never occurred to me that I should worry about my money in the bank. Now, that's probably not true. If you look back at the bank runs back in the day, I mean, so again, my lived experience is different than history. So you look back in time and you realize, with fractional reserve banking, they don't have all the funding on hand. If everyone went in there in the same day and asked for their money, they wouldn't be able to give it to you. So is it scary? Is it frightening? Not to me particularly, but to some people it is. And so they say, oh, you can own all your assets, you control it. Well, guess what? If you're responsible for that, that puts an enormous amount of stress and pressure on you. And I tried this with my crypto assets. Like you, Jeff, I initially got into it via Coinbase. I find that very convenient. But then as those assets accumulated, particularly at the end of 2020 and early 21, I started to hear these very catchphrases, not your keys, not your coin. Anyone can hack into Coinbase and snag your assets. Coinbase themselves could get shut down by the government, or they could just, do a rug pull, I guess is what it's called, and take the money and run. Now, at the time, that was before Coinbase was public. There was just a lot of anxiety and tension. And as your assets accumulate, you start to wonder, how safe are they? So I went in the market. I got one of these bad boys, this Ledger Nano X.
Describe how that works.
Yeah,
as somebody that's less familiar with it, somebody brand new, what did that look like?
It's kind of like a thumb drive. When you plug it in and you download some software, you are also given seed phrases. And usually it's, I think it's anywhere from 12 to 24 to 36 words that make no sense, like iceberg, lamp, microphone, water. I mean, I'm looking around aside from the word iceberg, I was just pulling names of things I look around the house, common objects. And that's your seed phrase. And that is essentially the way to access your crypto. Anybody that has that seed phrase and can guess those words consecutively in the proper order can get your stuff. So what does that mean?
You lose that.
Well, I was just going to say, what happens when that gets lost?
So the first thing you have to do is write all those words down in order and with all the correct spelling, right? Everything's got to be to the letter perfect. Then you have to probably write a couple copies of that And then you got to decide where and is it going to be safe to put this, where if someone gets, gets their hands on it, they could apparently, I guess, go to Ledger, type those words in and get access to my account. That means you don't have too many copies of these floating around, but for someone like me who's prone to losing things, like feel like, I have 3 or 4 of those things floating around in different like cubby holes, hidden places in this house. Maybe I don't want
The
to.
bank safe deposit box.
Safe deposit box is also a
Irony.
great place. They're in places where hopefully people couldn't find it, and then it's just interesting, right? So that seemed a little egregious that I'd have to do that. And then really what freaked me out the most, fellas, and again, I'll take the heat for this. I'm not the most tech savvy guy in the world. I'm in my mid 40s. I do email. I barely text. I can put a GIF out there if I really try, but there's this notion of downloading like new versions, 2.0, 2.3, 2.4. Every once in a while, Ledger says, hey, download the next version. And that will, I guess, fix some bugs or something, right? That's what those new things do. Kind of like when you do that with your Apple phone, has to restart and kind of resync and get all connected. And I've been doing that for a while because they kick out a new version every couple of months, which is updates, other things. Sounds good, right?
How's your blood pressure during all of that?
Well, it was fine until this last version. When I got the update, I clicked to start it and it said, hey, just a heads up, like little warning. Make sure your seed phrase works, because just in case this update reboots your entire Ledger device, you're going to have your seed phrases to get back on. And if you don't have your seed phrase, you lose it. This is what you guys are talking about. This is the craziest stuff. And there are people out there who lost their codes, lost their seed phrase. They have, and this must be really disturbing. You can go online and see it sitting there. Like you can actually observe your assets sitting somewhere. And by the way, I don't know where these things are. Has anyone figured that one out yet?
I'm sure there's a public ledger that you can look
They're in the public ledger somewhere, but where is that sitting? It's kind of all over the place, right? That's how this whole system works. But the bottom line is how I don't know how I could live with myself. See, like every day, just wake up and check the cost of assets, the value of assets that you can't even access, right? Anyway, this update said, well, I've got some robot voice kicking there. What was that all about? Anyway, this update said that, make sure you check your seed phrase. I tried to check my seed phrase, and lo and behold, for some reason, it didn't work. That could be me. I could have misspelled a word. I could have done something wrong. Like it frankly is me. It's user error. And I don't want a world in which I don't trust myself, right? I am the user who's going to commit the error unforced. I'm going to lose all of my, so long story short, and I apologize for rambling, fellas, but I'm thrilled to the moon about Jack Dorsey's announcement here. I would pay a third party, just like I pay the bank in a small amount of money, to take that pressure and stress off my life. And if Square wants to set up some custodial situation, the purists are going to pillory from it for this, but I think I'm okay with that. And frankly, I think for this market to really thrive, we need something like that, because people aren't used to being individually responsible for all of that amount of money, frankly.
Yeah, I think those options need to exist for sure. Like, so that's the conundrum, right? Do you want total decentralization and have to worry about all that? Or
I mean, part of me is like, look, man, yeah, they can track your money if you don't have the complete decentralization, but what am I doing? I'm maybe going to buy some property or a house or maybe a nice car. I don't even want a nice car, frankly. I don't even buy nice clothes. What do I want? Nothing that anyone is going to interest any authorities, I'm pretty sure. So look, that's a terrible answer. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this of the 50 people that are watching our show, but I just don't, I don't worry too much about that. Now, I'm glad the options are there though. If you really want to be secret agent man and be stealth, and some of those guys I know have like multiple units, and who knows, they keep them all over the hideouts all over the place, I guess. I don't know.
Well, so related to this, I read this week. There's a case for Bitcoin because of this. So 21 million Bitcoin, all that will ever be created as part of the code. And they estimate that what, 6 million have already been lost.
Yes.
And I also read that up to 4% of Bitcoin every year is lost because of this. So the projection today is that there's only 14 million of 21 million available Bitcoin to buy. And that, that number is going to continue to go down. So it's going to even multiply the scarcity associated with that asset. So
something else crazy I saw in the news. There's a guy who lost his hard drive. It's in a trash dump somewhere. I think this is in England. He was able, and he can prove by looking at the ledger, he can demonstrate these are my assets. It's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency. He bought it probably 10 years ago and trashed his computer. And he is some company, or I'm not sure exactly how this works. This is where my familiarity with facts eludes me. Someone is going to invest and pay a lot of money to go search those landfills to try to find this computer hard drive. And if they find it, they get a sizable, share of what's on there. He can't afford to do that himself. So that's obviously a good move on his part, and a kind of a risky move on the funder's part. But if they find it, it's like a treasure hunt, I think, interestingly, I don't know how this would work, but I could see someone opening a business where it's like, I'm going to go and find all that lost crypto, and we're going to come up with some way to hack in, or some other approach. I think that could be a whole market that emerges, because as this stuff becomes more valuable, you might just have a couple Bitcoin that you've lost on it, and that's worth suddenly a couple $1 million in the world that the Moon Boys envision. I don't know, man. It seems like some hacker would love that opportunity. Anyway, this is all very fascinating stuff. Stu, what do you think? I just want your hot take.
No. I mean, as a resident banker, right? I mean, I concur with a lot of what you say, and I think my big takeaway when Jeff initially kind of shared this was that, as we've talked for about 7 consecutive weeks, it's always about just one more baby step towards mainstream adoption. And when you get these folks kind of presenting these ideas and presenting these projects out, it just speaks to where we're at. And a lot of what you've said in the past, Rob, is how even, we are somewhere on the front end of this, like kind of like little voyage, right? And so it's not going to look the same next year at this time. And that's kind of my takeaway with all of this, is just that it's just one more step towards kind of figuring it out. Because at this point, you'd be telling a bit of an untruth if you said you knew exactly what it was going to look like a month from now, 6 months from now, and certainly a year from now.
I'll say one more thing as
Jeff, thanks for sharing the article. You've done a very nice job for the first 8 weeks of this.
Oh, you're doing great, man.
So yeah, I think it's good stuff for folks to kind of read up on and listen. So enjoyed.
Yeah, and that's a great segue to jump into the next segment, everybody's favorite. You've all been dying and waiting to see the update. I'm curious. I haven't seen it yet. I have a feeling I might have made up some ground here. Let's check it out. The running of the Moon Bulls. Ouch! No, I'm still stuck. Oh, but Noah's pulling up there, making a contest out of this. We got basically 2 weeks left in this contest, folks. Stu is taking some hits. Noah, I don't know if that's up or down from last week. Maybe it's more like static, but hey, in this case, that is catching up. I just can't I can't buy any.
I don't know if I'm gaining any ground or Stu's just losing ground, but at the end of the day, it's still a pretty big margin. Maybe I pulled out another percentage point or two ahead of you, Raff, but that could easily change tomorrow if Tell Moons. So
it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, son. All right.
Well, this is the first time probably in a few weeks I've come in here and I haven't been real excited to be in first place, because it's tough to be proud of the number. But probably the worst thing that could have happened to this competition is that AMP took a bit of a dive the past few days, and I'm able to grab about another 400 tokens coming into the home stretch here. So I'm now going to be sitting at about 3,900. And if this thing goes back to now 5.5 cents, let alone good night if it goes to 6 cents. So again, I'm not real proud of it. I'm not going to sit here and gloat. We all know that what's going to happen here in 2 weeks. I get it. But Jeff, I hope that on some level you make a bit of a showing over the next few weeks. And Rob, I just hope that you don't go below 50%.
Well, that's what we all hope for in life. To
Yeah. I'm rooting for you.
Noah, what's your take, man? What are you buying?
Yeah, Stu, it's hard to knock on you. I mean, you picked well with AMP, kind of a diamond in the rough from the beginning, right before it mooned. And I can't knock you, but I'm looking at, what is it, $27 I got to make up. So I got to double up 1 week. And right now I've got a good stack, good variety. I could go with any one of these because they're all down this week, but the one I'm going to go with this week, I'm going to go back to Polygon MATIC. It's right around $1. I want to increase my position in Polygon. I think layer 2s for Ethereum are obviously going to continue to increase in value. I'm also huge on Ethereum like Raff. And I think that both of those projects long-term are going to go, seriously high. I think Polygon has a chance to, double in price in the next month. So I'm going to go with Polygon. I think it's safe, but I also think it's got the potential to further close the gap and make this thing interesting, or at least ahead of you, Raff. That's kind
I'm
of,
not sure safe is what you need right now, Jeff. But again, to finish second, smart play.
I just don't want to come in last.
And that's what we are right here. We're battling for that second spot at the moment. And I think, pulling this, making this sort of show come full circle. You pointed out that a particular coin, of which I own a significant portion, at least in real life as well as in this contest, had a horrible week, maybe the worst performer of all of them. To me, that is just a blaring signal to buy, because things turn around quickly in this crypto game. So I'm going to go back to my baby, my love, my passion, my pet, TEL, TEL. I'm going to scoop up a lot of that stuff because it's on discount right now. And if it goes up, I mean, Stu's talking about AMP going up to 5 or 6 cents. Look, if TEL goes up to 3 or 4 cents, I think I win this thing. Okay. Is that going to happen in the next 2 weeks? Yeah, I could see it. I'm going to call my shots. Maybe it'll happen. I can't be that optimistic. The version 3 rollout and now it's just a disaster, but I don't know, man. I think good news is on the horizon. And what else do I have to do at this point? I mean, I have no other options. I'm running out of time. I gotta make up some gains. I think that's the winner. So going with TEL. I'll buy it right after the show's over. And by the way, buying TEL is very challenging. We'll talk about that some other time. Man, it's just talk about frustration. Okay, boys, this has been a great week. Not really. It's been a sideways week, but we're making progress.
Dollar cost averaging in.
Exactly. So, it's not like the lottery where you got to play to win. It's a little different than that. In crypto, you got to buy to fly to the moon, baby. Until next time. Bye-bye.